If you want to work with decorative threads on your serger, follow along because I'm going to show you how easy it is to tie on, pull it through, and how to adjust your tension for something kind of on the chunky side. It's kind of a fun little pillow I made a long time ago, but it has a decorative thread on the top, but on the back side, since nobody's going to see it, it has a standard thread. So there's some balancing that we're going to do with that. Since that was a wider 3 thread, I am going to go ahead and cut and remove my right needle. And I am always a fan, remove the spool that you are no longer using. And I will tell you, if it's the inside needle for a stitch like this, you can go ahead and leave it in. Yes, it is going to make an extra hole in your fabric, but in a pinch, you could actually leave this in. But for today, I am going to remove my A needle or my right needle. And then this thread is actually the Razzle Dazzle thread from Ricky Timms by Superior Threads. I do like this one. Other heavy decorative threads like the woolly nylon go beautifully in these loopers. So how are we going to easily tie on and pull through? What you're going to do is start by taking your thread. This is going to go in the upper looper, so I'm going to take my pink. I'm giving myself a little extra something to tie onto, so don't cut it here. This is going to be too close and won't give you enough room to do that. And then as you put the spool on the machine, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the knot that is best to tie so it doesn't actually come apart. Okay, so I'm going to kind of bring this to the front here. I'm laying the pink thread and my purple decorative thread kind of together. Both the ends are right here. And if you've tied a balloon knot, that's what I'm tying. So it's an overhand knot, or pretend you're tying a balloon, and just give yourself a nice little tug, close up that little knot as much as possible, and then we're going to lift up the presser foot. Sometimes I like to even loosen the tension just to give it a little easier so it can pull through. But all in all, I'm reaching back here and I'm pulling on these threads. I really just need the pink one, so I'm going to just get a hold of the pink one. I'm going to also open this door so you can see what's going on. And right here it gets a little stuck, and that's because the knot is right at this back clip or guide. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a little tug, help it through. And these knots are so easily, it'll go through the upper looper. There, I'm already pulled through. That is so easy. You can do that if you're changing any of your threads around. So if you're going from all 4 blacks, you can tie them on and pull them through and not have to rethread the serger. It does take a lot less time if I'm doing that. Now I am going to put everything back to normal, but we were talking in our tension video, which we'll link to, is that if you have a decorative thread, you got to give it some breathing room. So I am going to do just that. I'm going to go from 4 down to 2, maybe down to 1.5. We'll do a little test to see how things are looking, and we'll give it a go. So let's just do everything at normal. I am going to slide this in just to get my first couple of stitches to kind of get back together since I don't have a chain going just yet. And we'll just kind of stitch along the edge. I do need to make sure my stitch finger is pushed in. I don't need my stitch length too close together for starters, so I'm going to lengthen that out. I usually use my scissors because I don't want to waste as much decorative thread by bringing that all the way around the front. So here's what we're looking at for our very first test. So I can see that the purple's not going all the way over to the far edge. So I have it where now I'm going to take my yellow and tighten it up. So I'm going to numbers bigger. So I'm going to go to 6, and let's just go ahead and see how this looks next. I can look down here, I can even adjust it a little bit as I stitch, and then that way I'm going to do a little looser and a little tighter. I'm liking that. It's coming a little bit further to the edge. Now if I want it to be more filled in, I can adjust the stitch length and shorten it up, and I can have a really pretty stitch along the edge of my fabric. So that's how I go about adjusting for decorative threads when I'm stitching, and before you know it, you can add some really neat edges along the edge of your fabric. So check out all of our video tutorials. You can do this on any serger and play around with some decorative threads.